the big things for me was the accountability. So I used to always go and see him every week, and he would do things like he would make me weigh myself in front of him, which was always really scary. He would measure me, so he'd measure my thigh, my waist, my arm, my hips. So that was always very like conscious, very aware of like, oh my God, Aaron's going to see this week. I have to stick to it. So the accountability suddenly like really kicked in. I was losing weight really quickly. And one of the things, I guess, if you look at my earlier programs, a lot of it was HIIT training, cardio, was doing some weight stuff, but it was all like machines and things, using the machines, quite simple stuff. But we used to do a lot of like cardio. In fact, we used to do a lot of running on the treadmill, burpees, all that sort of body weight stuff. Put a diet plan together for me, and people sort of talk to me about macros and all this sort of stuff, and I don't follow macros. I don't follow a particular diet. I don't you'll never see me promoting something like Herbalife or Juice Plus or anything like that, because I think it's all a waste of money. I think it's about eating good, wholesome food, keeping it clean, if you want to put a label on it, clean eating, and it is about calories in versus calories out. And that's basically what Aaron taught me. So the first time we sat down and worked out what I was going to be eating, he actually had a bit of paper and he just sort of put a cross on it, and he put like carbs, protein, and he got just like little labels, and then he said, okay, so what carbs do you like? And I said, like rice, pasta, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you can have rice, you can have sweet potato, you can have porridge. So those are the things that you can pick from there. Then on the protein, he would say, so do you like fish? Yep, I like fish. Okay, so you can have fish, you can have cod, whatever, you can have salmon, you can have turkey, chicken, all these things. And this is what you're allowed in your meals. And then he's like, what fruits do you like? So then I tell him what fruits. Okay, you can have these fruits. And he basically gave me a selection of things that I was allowed to choose on my food. I used that menu, if you like, or things that I was allowed to eat to basically create my menu for the week and what I was doing. Now, when in the first part of my transformation, because a lot of things have happened in the last 4 years, but in that first initial 6 months where I lost around 4 stone, I think I worked out about 25 kilos, something like that. I went to the gym 4 times a week. I had a PT session, and in those 4 sessions a week, I would do cardio, HIIT training, little bit of weight training using things like the machines, the machines and what have you. I never ever went into the weights room because I was too terrified to. So it was quite limited what I was doing. It was a lot of body weight stuff, circuits, all that sort of thing. This is what cardio when bulking looks like. For the food, I literally was working from this selection of things that he said I was allowed to have. I didn't really measure anything. It was just basically 3 meals a day. I used to little things that I used to do. So, for example, I used to have my main meal at lunchtime, so that then in the evening I was having something like an omelette, so it was quite light. And I found that really helped. I know people sort of say, oh, don't eat carbs after 6 o'clock and all this sort of stuff. And when people say that to me now, oh, you shouldn't eat carbs after 6, I think, oh, that's just ridiculous. Like, your body doesn't know it's, 6 o'clock, if you eat carbs now, suddenly you're going to put on a stone. Like, it doesn't think like that. But I think what it did help me with was having my main meal at lunchtime and then training in the evening, then having something quite light afterwards. I think it helped with the fat burning because I was doing cardio in the evenings. So that's some of the things that I did, and I found that really helped. And just to give you an idea of what I was doing, like, for example, on a Monday at work, I would bring to work a roast dinner. Everyone used to laugh at me at work because I used to bring a roast dinner and microwave it, and it would literally be what was left from the roast dinner that I'd had the day before. So I was still eating good food and good meals, but just smaller portions. I got into the habit of eating out of Tupperware boxes, because I then would eat less than if I had a big plate. And yeah, I was doing things like not eating carbs in the evening and all that sort of thing. I can't say that I guarantee that would work. The other big thing that had changed massively was I started drinking water. So prior to that, I was only drinking fizzy drinks. And actually, in my fat days, I was only drinking full fat Coke constantly. Like literally, me and my husband would go to Asda and we'd buy cases of full fat bottle Coke, and that was all we would drink. So that in itself, the calories there is insane. So that was one of the big things I changed, was I went from drinking full fat drinks like that to drinking water. My hydration levels went up. One of the things that we really worked on was increasing my hydration levels so that I could break down the fat cells more. And I think that played a big part in the quick weight loss. Other things that I changed was I stopped eating takeaways, definitely. So stopped all that. I'd have like one meal a week where I would just kind of do what I want. So I'd have a cheat meal, or we'd go out for food or something like that. But even then, I was still making quite conscious decisions about what I was eating. So for example, we'd go to a Harvester and I'd still get like chicken and maybe like rice or whatever with it. So it was still quite healthy. I think like my opinion on cheat meals is it is a mental thing, a lot of it. And actually, if you need to lose a lot of weight, because let's not think about people that are competing or anything like that. I'm talking about normal people that need to lose weight. If you need to lose a lot of weight like I did, then maybe you need to not have a cheat meal for a while. Like you maybe need to just focus on the diet. So certainly for the first couple of months, I don't think I did have cheat meals or anything like that, because I was focused on the diet. And actually, the only time that I would have like a cheat meal or something like that, I guess, was when Aaron used to say to me, okay, I want you to take a few days off from the gym, relax on the diet, just do what you want for a couple of days. And that would be when we plateaued. So suddenly the weight loss would stop. And I guess the reasons he was doing that was to try and trick my body into thinking, oh, what's going on here? She's feeding me, yay. And then suddenly back on the diet. Oh, okay, now we're back in, kickstarting that whole metabolism and everything else. So I have people like ask me all the time for help with their diet and stuff like that. I'm not a PT, I'm not a coach, I'm not professional. I can only go by my own personal experiences. So when a friend or a family member asks me for advice, I always say the same things to them, that, cut out the sugars. So I cut out all sugar, no chocolate, no cakes, biscuits, all that sort of thing. If you're sitting in a meeting at work and they got the biscuits out and everything else, you have to have some willpower and you have to say no. If you actually want to lose weight, you have to say no to these things. There's no point in saying, well, I'll just have one and then cry at the weekend because you haven't lost any weight. I was going to Starbucks, Costa, whatever, one of those places every day at work, every day at least once. And I say at least once. There was times I was doing it a couple of times, 2-3 times. So much so, my husband at the time actually highlighted all my coffee shop trips on a bank statement once to make a point of how much money I was spending in coffee shops, which it was ridiculous. It was like over £150 one month. So which is horrific, really horrific, because obviously I wasn't just having coffees, I was having cakes and things like that as well. And the thing I was doing, I was getting I would get like a sugar-free skinny vanilla latte. Well, okay, maybe I've got the sugar-free syrup and it's got the skinny milk in it, but it's still about 300 calories. I was adding on at least 1,000 calories just through hot drinks. So one of the things I always say to people is think about not only what are you eating, but what are you drinking. I cut down on the drinking. I stopped drinking beer and cider. I very rarely drink that now. I can't actually remember the last time I drank a beer. So I cut all of that out, and actually for a while, whilst I was really focused on losing the weight, I didn't drink. And some people, you say that to people, like when they say, oh, I want to lose weight or whatever, and to be fair, sometimes some of these people, they do need to lose weight. It's a health issue. And I say to them, okay, don't drink for a couple of weeks, because I know that that's a thing, that they drink quite a lot, or maybe not a lot like an alcoholic, but they do drink regularly. So I'll say, just cut out the drink for a couple of weeks. Let's see what difference that makes, first of all. And that's almost a massive thing in itself. Like, people don't want to do that. And I think, well, it's just a short-term thing. It's just 2 weeks, I'm saying, cut it out and see what happens. But people don't want to make that sacrifice, but then they wonder why they can't lose weight. Well, think about the amount of calories that are in that. So there's lots of little things that you can do. And those are all the things that I did. One of the other things that I did exercise-wise to really lose weight, and I found it made a difference. And if I need to lose fat at any point now, I will always bring this into my regime, is running. As much as I hate it, running seems to really burn fat for me, and I am an advocate for fasted cardio. So one of the big things that we did to really push losing weight, and it did work, it did have an impact on us, on our results, for me and Aaron, was he made me do fasted cardio, and I was running. And I got up to a point where I could run 10 kilometres. Now, when I met Aaron, I couldn't even go for 10 seconds on a treadmill.